Hi, my name is Dakota Bagshaw, and today I'm going to be providing 5 helpful tips on how to practice from the Little Book of Talent from Daniel Coyle. One challenging thing to do when learning a piece is practicing the same line over and over again. And especially if you've been working on the same line for a long time, you can start to lose focus. That's why when I'm in the practice room, it's fun to change up some of the rhythms. By doing this, you're able to keep your brain engaged, but also being able to try out different rhythms on the spot that might also overall improve the line. You can do this by changing the rhythm from legato to staccato, changing the tempo slow to fast, the sky's the limit, but any adjustment that you're making to the piece can overall help with your playing and overall can keep you more focused in the practice room by shifting to doing this to going back to the original way that the bar is played. One thing that I also like to do when I practice is my Apple Watch always vibrates when someone texts me or if I get a notification or just even like simple like activity or noise. So taking it completely off and just throwing it somewhere else. I would like gently, gracefully put it in my bag. But by doing that, then I don't have anything attached to me. I have nothing to worry about. And then all I can completely do is focus on my music. And I don't have to worry about the outside world at all because Now next what I usually do is break everything down to chunks. Chunking means breaking down certain sections of music smaller and smaller until you get a full understanding of the music. This can help when starting to learn a piece or just sections that you're having difficulty with. And by practicing only these small sections that you're struggling with and breaking them down, you can have an overall effect for the entire music that you're trying to create. So yeah. The first chunk that I would do is I'm just going to focus overall the first 5 bars of the piece. So I'm just going to play the first 5 bars that I have. Now I'm going to break it down to doing only the first 3 bars of the piece. Now I'm going to break it down just doing the last 2 bars of the 5. So there's 2 ways as a saxophone player that I would consider like the closing my eye idea, because usually the idea is that for most of our pieces we play like with the music compared to like other instruments like piano and that usually don't have their sheets in front of them. So 2 ways is between I actually physically close my eyes and like have a mental image in my head of what I want to hear, or what I would do is I have my stand in front of me, I just completely turn it around and do that. So usually how I would practice this is like going over a section and then like reading it over a few times, and then when I feel comfortable turn my stand around and then do it, or I would just close my eyes. So for this one I'm going to actually turn my stand around. So that's the chunk that I have. And then now I'm going to turn my stand around and see how much I remember. And overall, it just helps with like the memory of the piece. Other ways that it helps me is just the idea that you're with your accompaniment and then you're able to look at them too and feel more engaged with the audience when you're performing. It also just overall like have better memory with your pieces, and like you actually kind of know what you're doing and you're not freaking out and reading every single note, because to be really honest, not a lot of us do that when we're in the middle of performance. We freak out too much and then we don't really look at the music at all. So that's another little tip that I take on that helps me. Yeah. final tip is stopping before you go too exhausted. Now I know, we're all music students. We all need to practice. We all need to work. There's not enough hours in the day to be able to do that. I know. I understand that pain. But it is okay to take a break. It's okay to go watch Netflix if you need to before you go to bed. It is okay to go and get a drink of water and come back. It is okay. We are all human. A great example for me as a saxophone player, knowing when it is done enough for me to take a break, is when my chops, when I don't have any good embouchure whatsoever anymore when I play, or under my lip here where I usually bite down on my teeth, if it starts to bleed, that's a pretty good sign that you should be taking a break. There are ways to help if you do need to play longer for that, but that's a whole different thing I could talk about. But yeah, just knowing when to stop. Accepting that you can't be playing 24/7 all the time. I know a lot of us would love to, but sometimes we just can't. So I have been in the practice room today, for example, for over 3 hours. After running through my pieces a few times for my juries, I know that that is enough for me because I know that I've already put in the hard work for my juries. So usually I would come in for an hour and a half, and I would just run through my pieces, go over certain little sections that I want to cover up, and then that's what I would call a practice. But just knowing when to take a break is very, very important. Yeah. So go turn on that Netflix movie that you've been dying to watch. I know I have a list already.